It's Susie Geiger, Yoga with Susie. So today we're going to do some gentle yoga, some simple things that you'll just modify however you need them. So wherever you are, a mat, lie down on the carpet, on the floor, get a towel. We're going to start with some seated poses. So first I'm going to just start to roll my shoulders around. You can do one and then the other. I think this is a really nice way to just start to warm up that area. I'm going to take my head to the right side. You can bring your right hand on top of your head and take the left arm behind your back. If that feels too much for you, you can just let the hand be by the side. Taking a few deep breaths. And then I'll switch sides, taking my right hand behind the back and my left hand on the right side of the head. I'm not pulling my head down, I'm just breathing into it. I'm just using my hand to guide my head so my head doesn't come forward, and I'm not tucking my chin, nor am I bringing my head back. Bring it back center. Roll it around. I'm going to take the right arm underneath the left, bending at the elbows. I see people do this a lot, and you see that my elbows are apart, and that just takes the stretch out of it. Keeping the elbows together, bending at the elbows, lifting elbows up. I'm going to start to turn my head side to side, focusing on my breathing. I'll let it go. I'll roll my shoulders around again. If it feels good to take your head in some circles, and then I'll take the left arm under the right. Again, it's about bending at the elbows. You need to keep the elbows together in order to initiate this stretch. So again, see the difference. See when I take my elbows apart versus when they're together. People get really hung up on trying to bring their hands together here. That doesn't matter. It's about keeping the elbows together. Again, I'm going to turn my head side to side, breathing into it. You can also take your ear over to your shoulder. For me, this is more intense, so I just take it much slower, especially in the beginning. And then over to the other side. I like doing this in between each shoulder stretch. It helps me also gauge where I'm at in my shoulders. You can take the hands out and up, interlace your fingers, turn it inside out. You don't have to interlace your fingers. You can just put one hand underneath the other. This is the quickest go-to, I think, for shoulders, whether you're in an office or you're in a plane, you're traveling somewhere. Just take your arms overhead, breathe into it, let it go, roll it around. I'll take a little seated twist and take it in the other direction. And then we'll take a side stretch. Taking the right hand down in line with the right hip, left arm up. In order to bring myself further over to the right side, you'll notice all I'm doing is bending at this right elbow. I'm keeping myself really grounded through both butt cheeks on the mat. I'm looking up underneath my left arm, but that can be a lot for your neck. So if you need to, just keep your head in a more neutral place. Always trying to stop and just take a few breaths. The idea is not to rush through it, to just relax into it. And I know I've told you guys this before on other videos. I love closing my eyes in certain poses. It just helps me relax into it a little bit more, go a bit deeper in terms of what I'm feeling in my body. So this side for me feels tighter, so I'm just gonna take it slower. Taking some deep breaths. And I'll bring myself up. I'm gonna take my hands behind my back, interlace and lift. So I'm not rolling or tucking my chin. I'm trying to sit up straight. and then bring my hands back. That can be a lot for some people. You might just be here, and I see a lot where the elbows are bent, and if your elbows are bent, it's fine. Just slowly try and start to straighten it. If it feels easy for some of you to straighten your arms, then you can start to lift. And again, I'll just roll my shoulders around, and now I'm going to come up onto my hands and knees. We're going to do some cat-cow. I think it's important to pad under the knees. So what I'll do is take my mat. You can take a blanket, a pillow, an extra mat, and then bring my knees up onto the folded up. So now I have some extra layers underneath my knees. I'm trying to get the wrist right underneath the shoulders. And it's about really pushing your back up. My head's just letting go here. The movement is initiated from the lower back. And rounding it out. You can do a few rounds of this. I like to go really slow sometimes just to see if I can move more rather than just moving in clumps. I see a lot of times people just going so fast. So you can take your time. Breathing while you're doing it. And then you can sit back and take a child's pose. If child's pose is hard for you and you just can't bring your butt back, that's okay. You see, I'm on my forearms now. I can just bring my head onto my forearm. Maybe start to push back. You can also put some pillows back behind your butt. And I'll come back up and do 1 or 2 more rounds of cat-cow. Breathing. Inhaling and exhaling. And now I'm going to thread the needle. So I'm going to take the right arm underneath the left. This is the threading the needle part. And I'm bringing right shoulder down and right cheek down. So this left arm you can take behind your back. If that's too much, you can just leave it here. You can also take that arm straight ahead. Remember to breathe. And then switch sides, taking the left arm, threading that needle, left shoulder down, left cheek down, right arm behind my back if that feels okay. Checking in with all my parts. You can take the right arm straight ahead. I'll sit back and take another child's pose. And I'm going to come onto my belly and do a little bit of Sphinx to give myself a back bend. So I said check in with your parts, and I see this a lot, and I do it myself, where I'm working one part of my body really hard and feeling some tension in that part, while some other parts are just kind of doing nothing. So I want to not strain one area. I want to work everything gently and in a way that's going to feel okay. I'm not trying to strain anything or hurt anything. So when I say check in with your parts, see what the different body parts are feeling as you're doing these poses. So in this pose, you might feel some strain here, and maybe you just lower down. The other part to check in here would be in your neck and shoulders. Am I doing this and not even being aware of it? So if you want to try and take a cobra, bringing your hands down on the mat, pushing up. If that's too much, take yourself back to Sphinx. It's fine to stay here. You're just trying to open up that part of your back and give it a little bit of a stretch. And you can see the bend in my spine. while I'm in the pose. That's why it's called a back bend in yoga. The rocking of my hips side to side just kind of relaxes everything and feels good. And I'll take one more cobra, pushing up. And I'm going to push back into child's pose one more time. Trying to relax my forehead on the mat. You can have your hands down by the side if you want. For me, it's important to just have my head down so that I'm relaxed in here. And I'm going to come forward and through for one more cobra. And we'll do a down dog, tucking the toes, pushing up. You can pedal out your knees if that feels good. I love doing that. I do it in all my videos. And come back down to hands and knees. Push back into child's pose. And we'll just try that one more time. You can come up this way and let your hips sink, or you can come to your forearms and just pull yourself forward and through, right back into cobra. I'm going to take one last down dog, pedal out my knees. To stretch your calves, I would bend the right knee and push the left heel towards the ground, pushing back. Breathing and switch sides. If there's a side that's tighter, do it twice. Do it 3 times if you need to. So whichever side you've decided is tighter, give it another spin. You can also bend both knees at the same time and push back. You get a different stretch in your back when you do it that way. So I'm going to take one more child's pose. And then we're going to come on to our backs. So I have a strap. We're going to stretch the backs of our legs that way. So just lie down and make yourself comfortable. And you don't need to have the yoga strap. You can use a belt or a piece of string. I've had people use terry cloth bathrobe straps. They're very helpful. So I'm going to relax the left leg down. You can keep it bent if that feels better for you. I like it this way. I think it's a little more effective. And I'm just going to be gentle. This is my first time stretching the backs of my legs, so they feel a little tight. You notice I don't need to be here. I can have my hands down so I'm relaxed through my neck and my shoulders. And I'm just gently first letting it rock side to side. Then you can bend the knee and bring it into your chest. And then maybe this time, after I've kind of given it a little bit of a stretch, I'll hold it. So you can, if you see I'm moving the strap further down into the arch of my foot, and then that would allow me to point my toes to just kind of relax my foot. If I have the strap on the ball of the foot, it's then flexing that foot. And you're going to feel a different stretch by flexing your foot versus doing that. So you can try both. I'm just going to take some deep belly filling breaths. Just relax with it. If you're here, that's fine. You're just trying to find the right stretch for you. You're not trying to do it exactly the same way I'm doing it. You can also open to the side. If you roll to the side, it's a little bit different of a stretch than if I keep both butt cheeks down. And I'm not saying one is bad and one is good. They're just different. So my intended area of stretch here with both butt cheeks down is inner thigh. And then you can take that knee back into the chest. You can also start to take the leg over to the other side, which is going to get outer side of your leg. And this one is usually more intense for everyone, including myself. So this one in the beginning, when I bend and straighten in all these different poses that are stretching the backs of your legs, it just stops the stretch. So if it gets too intense, bend your knee and then start to straighten it again. Take it back up. To switch, I just put my left foot in the strap with my right, and I'll do the same thing. So my left side of the body is always tighter. So I'm going to be much more gentle with it in the beginning. Again, where the strap is on the bottom of your foot makes a difference. And now I might hold it for a minute or two. And you see my hands keep creeping up on the strap, and it happens a lot. Everybody does that when they're using a strap, as if that's going to make it better, and it really doesn't. Just trying to breathe into it. It's a little intense for me, and I think I'm always going to say err on the side of caution. You're not trying to get any pain, but sometimes stretching feels a little intense, and you need to start to understand the difference. And then I can open and get the inner part of that left leg. You can see it better on this side, how both butt cheeks are firmly planted down, rather than me doing this and then taking it cross body. And that side's way more intense for me. So like I just said, I'll just bend and straighten. Just take the stretch away and maybe take it up a second time. I think repeating things for my body always feels better than just trying to hold it the first time and be really intense with it. And I always do twice on each side with this particular stretch. And now I might really hold it. So I'm relaxing through my neck and my shoulders. I'm taking myself right to the place where I feel just a little bit. I'm not going for craziness or big shake. And then just take some deep breaths. See how my hand creeped right back up there? I told you, it always happens. When I flex the foot, I feel it more in my calf. Opening it to the right. Taking it cross body over to the left. You want to hold each one of these stretches for about 30 seconds. And sometimes it seems like a really long time, I get it. But that gives your muscles and your ligaments and your joints and your tendons some time to do what we're trying to do here. And I literally can start to feel everything release and not feel as intense when I just hold it, breathe into it, and stay with it. Other side. So again, this side for me is more intense. So you notice on the other side, I was able to pull my leg in a little bit further. I'm not going to do that on this side. I'm not trying to have a competition between my right leg and my left leg. I'm just doing what's right for each part in my body. So I might take it a little bit more. And that's enough right now. I feel the intensity. So I'm just going to hold it here. Always reminding myself to relax in my neck and shoulders. I tend to carry my stress and tension there. Take some deep breaths. Give the stretch the time it needs to just do what we're trying to do. And you notice I just tried to straighten that leg a little bit, and I flexed the left foot, which is giving me a little bit more of a stretch in my calf. And now open, getting inner thigh. And again, I'm just trying to hang out here, not pushing anything. Now I'm going to bend to release the stretch, because for me, as I said, this is my more intense side. And then I'm going to take a cross body. And now we'll just try and hang out here for a bit. And then we'll just move the strap. I'm going to take both knees into my chest. Give myself a little rock. So I want you to see, I'm going to make little circles just with my right knee, rotating the thigh bone into the socket, giving it a little spin, and then I'm going to do the other leg. Maybe go in both directions. Give yourself a little rock. It's really nice to start to move in your pelvis. And then I'm going to take the right ankle over the left knee. I might just stay here. You can kind of rock it side to side. And then I'll take it to the other area. So we're getting into outer hip, lower back area. I'm trying to give you some nice gentle stretches for all your body parts. You notice we started in the upper body, neck and shoulders, worked our way down through our back with the cat-cow and the cobras and down dogs. And now I'm getting lower body in a safe and gentle way, where we just did the backs of our legs, inner parts of our legs, outer, and now we're going to work on some hip stuff. So I want you to see that I'm just going to let this rotate over to the side. Now, this can be really intense for some people, and I see some people who just can't do it, and that leg will kind of slide down. Don't force anything. If this isn't happening for you, you can just let this foot be here. If this is possible, so now I'm feeling it on the outer side of this hip, whereas before I was feeling it on the other. And then I can just come back and rock it, and then I'll do the other side and just let it float over to this side. And again, there's a couple things. If it's really tight in your hips, this knee might be way up here, and that's okay. Don't force it. You can gently start to give a little bit of resistance by pushing that knee away from your head. Taking some deep breaths, coming back center. You can rock it a little bit. I can bring the soles of my feet together to get a little bit of stretch on inner. Sometimes in the beginning, some people can stay this way for a really long time. If I had some support underneath here, you can use blocks or pillows and prop up underneath here so it's completely supported. But without the support, for me, I don't like to hold this that long, so I'll just hang out here for a little while, and then maybe I'll do this, which will start to give a little twist and release in my back, and then maybe over to the other side. And you can try it again. I like to repeat everything for me in my body, and I think most people, it feels better second time. You give a little warm up the first time. So I'm just kind of rocking myself a little bit here. It feels good. Any of the things I suggest are things that you need to decide if it's going to work for your body, or if you need to do it a little bit slower. And then I'm going to do a bridge or two, putting my hands down by my side. And then I'm just gently lifting my butt off the ground and lowering down. You can do this rocking motion side to side in between. Maybe lift up again. I say maybe because it might not feel okay for you. I don't believe yoga is a one-size-fits-all. So you need to take all of this information and use it in a way that's going to work for you. And I'll take it up again, and this time I'm going to hold it. I'm trying not to let my knees come out to the side and try and keep everything parallel if that's possible. I'm using my hands to support myself down, but you can also cross your hands here and do a few rounds this way. What's feeling okay for you today? And then I'll take my knees into my chest and take a twist. This is such a good pose. And I feel some tightness as I bring myself over. And it doesn't feel bad, and that's, you have to start to distinguish what some of these different feelings are. Because sometimes I think that the word pain is used very quickly. So it was intense for me, but it wasn't painful. And intense because I needed the stretch. And then over to the other side. And I'm trying to always relax my head, my neck, my shoulders. Take a few more deep breaths. I'm going to do twice on each side, like everything else I do. And this time I might hold it a bit. You can also get into your shoulders a little bit, which will change the stretch a little bit, but feels good for me to get my shoulders involved in some of those moves. If it doesn't feel good for you, then just let your arms relax down by your side. Take a few more breaths here. Last time, other side. And if you want, you can just lie down for a moment and let your back relax. We call this Shavasana or corpse pose in yoga, and you can literally just lie down and relax for a moment or two. Take a few deep breaths. You can stay here for longer if that feels good for you. I'm going to suggest that when you bring yourself up to sit, you roll to the side in a little fetal position, and then I'm going to use my hands to push myself up to sit. Very gently bring myself up, and I feel it in my face now. You can probably see it. I'm so much more relaxed by having done some of these gentle moves. I really hope that helps. Thank you for watching Yoga with Susie. There's a little subscribe button down there to the side. See it? Click it. Subscribe to my channel. Tell me if you'd like some specific things that you'd like to see. I have a blog you can check out on my website. Thank you so much for watching Yoga with Susie. I really appreciate it.